Okay.
Involving the United States government.
Seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
So you might be wondering if millions of people saw the rocket launch with their own eyes. Then how is the moon landing fake? How do you explain that? Some researchers argue the launch was real, but what came after may have been carefully staged. A rocket going into space doesn't prove what happened after it disappeared from sight. Some say it was mankind's greatest achievement. Others believe it was the greatest lie ever told. July 20th, 1969. Over 600 million people across the world watched as Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon. But behind the applause, the tears, and the cheering crowds, questions have lingered for more than 50 years. Tonight, we peel back the layers of one of the most controversial theories in history. Was the moon landing real, or the greatest hoax of the 20th century? Conspiracy theorists say if the sun was the only light source, all shadows should be perfectly parallel. But in NASA footage, shadows sometimes look like they're going in different directions. This is used to argue that studio lights were used. Multiple light sources equals non-parallel shadows. Think of train tracks. They're parallel, but when you look into the distance, they appear to converge. But on the other side, NASA and debunkers say, the moon's surface is uneven and hilly, so shadows look non-parallel because of perspective and terrain. Just like on Earth, if you stand on a slope with a friend, your shadows may not look aligned even though the sun is the same source. And if there were multiple lights, like in a studio, each object would cast 2 or more shadows, which doesn't happen in the footage. To skeptics, this isn't just a strange coincidence. It looks exactly like stage lighting in a film studio, where spotlights cast uneven shadows depending on their angle. Was NASA really standing on the moon, or standing on a set? Debunkers claim this is just an illusion caused by uneven ground. But if the moon's surface is so uneven, why do some shots show shadows that are perfectly straight? When the astronauts planted the American flag, millions cheered. But millions also noticed something odd. The flag waves. It ripples as if caught by a breeze. But on the moon, there is no breeze, no wind, no air at all. NASA argued the flag was mounted on a horizontal rod, and that the astronauts' movement made it sway. But skeptics argue, if this was a flawless historical event, why does the flag behave like fabric on Earth? Was it the slip-up that gave away the stage? When you look at the night sky on Earth, you see thousands of stars. On the moon, with no atmosphere, the stars should appear even brighter. But in every single Apollo photo, the sky is completely black. Not one star. NASA's explanation? The cameras were set to capture the bright surface, not the faint stars. Logical, yes, but to conspiracy theorists, it sounds like an excuse. If they faked the set, maybe stars were simply too complicated to add. Did they forget the most obvious detail of all? In 1968, 1 year before the moon landing, Stanley Kubrick released 2001, A Space Odyssey. Audiences were stunned. The visuals of space were so real, so convincing, that some began to wonder, if Kubrick could fake space in a movie, could NASA fake it for the world? Years later, Kubrick's films seem to hide strange hints. In The Shining, young Danny wears an Apollo 11 sweater. Was it a secret confession? A director leaving behind breadcrumbs of the truth? Or just coincidence, wrapped in paranoia?
This country was conquered by those who move forward, and so will space. And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
On the mission to build
1969 wasn't just about space. It was about the Cold War. The Soviets had already sent the first man to space. America was desperate to win the space race. Billions of dollars, political pride, and global dominance were at stake. Would faking a moon landing have been easier than admitting defeat? NASA insists the evidence is clear. The moon rocks, the reflector panels left on the surface, the live broadcast beamed to the world. And yet, doubt refuses to die. The shadows, the flag, the missing stars, the Cold War, and whispers of a staged spectacle. NASA insists the evidence is clear. The moon rocks, the reflector panels left on the surface, the live broadcast beamed to the world. And yet, doubt refuses to die. The shadows, the flag, the missing stars, the Cold War, and whispers of a staged spectacle. The moon landing hoax remains unsolved, but the deeper we look, the more cracks we find in the story.
solid rocket booster flight data recorders are activated. And the handoff to Atlantis' onboard computers. Atlantis now in control of the countdown.
20.
Firing chain is armed. Sound suppression water system activated. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis on the mission